Well, it's been an extraordinary day in federal politics as Labor's leadership tensions reach a new high. MPs are now openly taking sides and a challenge is likely within weeks. The latest catalyst was a clip posted on YouTube showing Kevin Rudd thumping a desk and swearing angrily. Julia Gillard has denied any role by her office in the release of the video.
It went up on YouTube yesterday.
This f***ing language. He just complicates it.
An angry Kevin Rudd repeatedly mouthing the F word.
Is this a f***ing Chinese interpreter up there? Just f***ing hopeless.
The tanty occurred as Mr Rudd tried to record a broadcast message in Mandarin before he was deposed as Prime Minister.
F***ed up the last word.
Today, Julia Gillard denied that her supporters had released the embarrassing outtakes in a bid to discredit her rival as Labor's leadership crisis deepens.
I don't know who put that material on YouTube, but whoever did it has acted inappropriately.
Mr Rudd responded in a TV interview late last night.
When things go wrong, you get frustrated, but it was frustration at me, frankly, my inability to get through the script. I've never pretended not to swear from time to time.
As a leadership challenge looms, some Gillard supporters have been telling Labor MPs that Mr Rudd was rude, arrogant and impossible to work with when he was Prime Minister and hasn't changed. If the YouTube video was intended to reinforce that message, though, it may have backfired by giving him an opportunity to argue to caucus waverers that he is a changed man.
I've certainly reflected a lot on the last several years, and you'd be a mug if you didn't learn something from the past.
Mr Rudd said he's learned to be less of a workaholic, to delegate rather than micromanaging, and to consult more broadly. Caucus discontent with Ms Gillard is now in the open, with Victorian MP Darren Cheeseman calling on her to resign. Mr Cheeseman, whose seat of Corangamite is Labor's most marginal, was a Gillard supporter, but now says Julia Gillard can't take the party forward. The community has made its mind up on her.
I understand that Darren is feeling pressure. He represents a constituency that is feeling the pressure from economic change.
This tweet from another Victorian backbencher describing Mr Rudd as a psychopath with a giant ego shows how bitter division over the leadership has become. This morning, Andrew Wilkie, one of the independents with a crucial role in the hung parliament, said he'd find it easier to work with Mr Rudd than with Ms Gillard. Good news for the Rudd camp. But Mr Wilkie also said this.
There will be a challenge.
And revealed he was sure of that because he'd had a long, confidential meeting with Mr Rudd last November.
We talked about a range of things, including the possibility of him coming back to the Prime Ministership.
Some Gillard backers see that as clear evidence of disloyalty by Mr Rudd, confirmation that he has been working to topple her. And that could become the trigger if the Prime Minister decides to bring on a leadership vote herself when Parliament resumes in a week's time. Queensland Labor Premier Anna Bligh, fighting a tough state election campaign, is one who's losing patience.
Get on with it, fix it.
Laurie Oakes, 9 News.
Kevin Rudd's biggest supporter, wife Therese, has told 9 News the release of the video is destructive and unhelpful. The couple was surprised the clip appeared, but in a frank discussion at their Brisbane home, she told the former PM his rant wasn't a good image.
I think he was uncomfortable that he had kind of become so impatient with himself and with trying to deliver something in a short period of time. He was uncomfortable that he let off steam that way.
Mr Rudd has been warned swearing won't be tolerated in the family home once their first grandchild is born in May.